You grieve for what you've lost. It's like a death in the family. You've lost, half your body's died. So you're grieving for it because it's no longer there.
We would understand grief and loss to be grieving for the loss of something that we value. In the case of stroke, for a stroke survivor, it might be that they're grieving for the life that they had pre-stroke.
I just realised that I wasn't coming back. Me as Saran wasn't coming back, and I had to try and work out who I was and what my life was going to be.
You've lost so much, like I lost my whole self really. You lose, I lost my job and my passion of starting. Everything really.
Some people will experience grief and loss for days or weeks, and others it might be more like months to years. For some, they may experience their grief as that they carry it for the rest of their lives, and we would consider that to be perfectly okay for that person.
When I left hospital and I walked out and they told me I had a stroke, I was like, well, I can walk. I'm going to walk every single day. 3 months, I was a mess. Like, I just felt so terrible that I just wanted to go to sleep and let the day go.
From my perspective, it's extremely important for someone after a stroke to be able to express their grief and loss of what's happened and how they're feeling about that. And that can be quite challenging when someone has a communication or cognitive deficit. So it's about finding ways that are meaningful for them to be able to portray how they're feeling.
I cry when I need to. I don't deprive myself a cry. If it's one of those days, then that's what I'll do. If I need help, I'll put a sad movie on and just sit there and bawl my eyes out.
It's better not to bottle up our experiences, but in a moment when we feel safe and it's okay to do so, to let that out.
We would advise young stroke survivors that it's very normal to experience all of these emotions, and it is important to give yourself some time, space, and allow the grieving process to happen. Young stroke survivors often have told us that they find going to local support groups very beneficial because they get an opportunity to meet like-minded people.
Very relevant to grief and loss might be counsellors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists who can specifically work with them around those themes of grief and loss. So there is a website named Enable Me, which is part of Stroke Foundation, and on that website is a community of stroke survivors and a place to engage in discussion with other stroke survivors. Enable Me is a wonderful place to be able to come and connect with other survivors experiencing something similar.
I did actually ring the Stroke Foundation support line a few times because I didn't really have any communication with other stroke survivors. I wasn't really up to that at that point. Being able to just sort of talk it out and kind of, put it into a reality rather than just that, thing in my mind, make it easier to deal with.
It really helps because I find that not everyone, like as good as my friends are, they can't understand. They haven't lived it.
So reaching a level of acceptance in grief is a very different process for different people. Not everyone might reach this stage, but for those who do, it might look like acknowledging that this is a new way of being and that is okay.
The grief will always be there. It's never going to go away. It's learning to manage it, and it's okay to get upset about it. It's important to get upset about it, because if you bottle it up, that's no good. That's actually really bad. So occasionally you need to just let the frustration out and you feel a lot better for it.
I haven't accepted my body yet. It's going to improve. I'm just so pig-headed about it, and because I've seen such an improvement already, I know you just have to have patience. Oh my God. Patience is the big key here.
My dream is to pay the house off before I die, so I don't leave my wife in the lurch. I want to see my kids grow up healthily. Got to take life one day at a time. It's very difficult to plan for the future when you don't have a massive income that you can actually rely on.
It's not the outcome, it's how you deal with everything on that journey. God, it's such a short life, you make the most of it.